right, welcome back to Two Song Podcast. This is Chris.
And this is Cam.
And this is a show where we try and sort every song ever into one of two categories. Either a love song
or a fight song.
Yep, exactly right. And this is episode 103 of our show. So 103.
Yeah, we have 100 episodes of audio only on Spotify and all those other places where you listen to podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back. The intro that you just heard is from Harry Styles' latest single, which came out at the end of March 31st, just a few weeks ago. I don't know if it's a single for his next album or just a single, which is kind of a recent thing, but
yeah,
it's As It Was by Harry Styles.
Yeah, and he's really having a moment right now. I mean, he, is famous and been famous for a while. He was in one of, the big resurgence of boy bands, the biggest one for a little while.
Yeah.
And had been solo for a while and just seems like, from someone who's kind of a casual, not really a fan, just doesn't miss. Whatever he puts out, people are like, I love that. It's my favorite song. It's the best song ever.
Yeah, you probably remember Watermelon Sugar from his 2019 album.
Yeah, that's the big one. Yeah. Man. Exactly. Case in point. He puts out music, people are obsessed with it. People love it.
Yeah, definitely.
Dang. I like this song. I was worried that I would get tired of it, listen to it over and over again. And it has kind of grown on me. But it's hard for me to find certain things I just really love about it that I would cling to it and keep playing it. But to me, that's not enough to not like a song. I still would say I like it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, it's not super original, exactly, or groundbreaking in any way, but it is catchy and fun, and I haven't gotten tired of kind of looping it a little bit.
Good to know, yeah. What about that intro? I was thinking, just trying to, contrast it to a lot of other stuff we hear, on Spotify, if you let Spotify pick for you, or hear on TikTok, or hear even in commercials. I pay attention to music in commercials. It's almost a response to lo-fi, kind of electronic and minimalist music. It's you know what I'm really into? Pop music from the 80s.
Yeah.
It's oh, okay. I mean, that's just a feel I get, the sense I get from it.
Yeah, me too, certainly. It's, it kind of makes me feel like I'm in Tron a little bit.
Yeah, actually, that's a great point.
Yeah. And obviously we haven't got there yet, but it's kind of pleasant and poppy and bouncy, and then kind of contrasted by some not so pleasant lyrics.
Yes, I'm glad you said that. Yeah, it's really happy and bright, and almost the perfect tempo, focus grouped tempo. We've got this song, oh, that's too fast. Oh, very good. It's studying it. And then this one's too slow, it makes me sad. And they just picked beats per minute that was the perfect one. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, which one is trending most.
Yeah.
I've also heard that certain beats per minute affect your body in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of scientific. I didn't do the study, but maybe they just did some research too, and just this is gonna make people feel good. Harry tried to write a sad song, but we can't be having that. So
that's right.
Pep it up a little bit.
Yeah, we're showing sad songs aren't selling right now. The world's kind of sad. So what we're gonna have to go ahead and do is keep the lyrics, but redo the vocals, and then just click all the instruments up. Because with a lot of digitally recorded music, you can do that and it won't even mess it up. It won't even affect the pitch, which is so cool to me.
Yeah, that's wild. There's some more science for you.
Mm-hmm. But we're not saying this will happen. It's just kind of the sense we get. We're just imagining that's kind of the way it is.
Yeah, exactly. Well, next we want to get to some of those lyrics.
Yes, because I was thinking this intro has that weird soundbite in the beginning that I really don't care for. That doesn't count as lyrics, right?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say so. It's kind of reminds me of some of the weird samples that Chance will use into his music. Just a child talking, and I'm yeah, you could not do that though if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think it's more. It doesn't really contribute to the beat in any way, but it's just more like skit stuff, like
Yeah,
for like a hip hop album or something.
That is, yeah. But yeah, you're right. I say maybe go ahead and get to this first verse.
Cool.
Goodness. But yeah, like you were saying, the lyrics aren't happy at all. I was thinking maybe this is early to reveal a slight take on it, but slight take. I would think that this song is vaguely about the pandemic.
Cool.
But maybe, I don't know, like if I were studying this song in the future and I had forgotten the years that the pandemic was, I might not would even link the two. Maybe it's just a recency thing. I'm like, well, I think about it often.
Yeah.
And this song, you could make parallels. Maybe that's why I say, is this song about the pandemic? And it's like, no, you're just thinking about the pandemic while you listen to it.
Yeah, I found I kind of do that with any song that's come out since it started.
Yep.
I'm just like, it's probably what this is about. And, which is interesting. It's almost like anything could be relatable to anything.
Yeah. Oh, whoa, dude. Okay, I'm glad that I said my take before you said that, because that is a take right there. That's like, what are we even doing anymore?
I don't know. Maybe we should put that on a shirt. But I mean, trying to say Another New World is about the Titanic is, I mean, a less extreme example of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, if we can say that like a song once it comes out becomes the listeners, it's whatever they make of it, then like it could be anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we often say that, so yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Goodness. This song, the first verse at least to me, does what we've talked about a ton, and perhaps I never realized how many songs do this. Makes perfect sense. A lot of written media does this because it's jarring to just jump into a narrative. We love narratives. We're just, semi-intelligent animals. They're like, oh, what's the story? And I'm speaking just for the two of us, but it's just, the first verse is almost always like, you gotta get into, like the listener needs to get into the song first.
Yeah.
And unless the song is very chorus driven, which we've had a ton of, it's almost like, don't be in a rush, even though it's kind of a short song. I'm gonna spend the whole first verse like bringing you up to speed. And I think this song does that and does a decent job of it. And also it's enough of like a pop song where the early lyrics hook you, they don't bore you. Like
yeah.
I know people say in movies they love origin stories, but I don't know. I think origin stories have been done a lot in the past 15 years, 10 years. So many people get burnt out on them. I think pop songs a little bit have to strike that balance of like, you can't know instantly what my song's about, but I also can't start like, I was born in the UK, whatever, 30 years ago. It's like, don't start at beginning.
Yeah.
And like this song to me, holding me back, gravity's holding me back. Like if this song has that weird soundbite we talked about, that like poppy kind of keyboard intro, and then those lyrics start, it's a little bit like, oh man, dang, you got me. I didn't want to be this drawn in this early, but I can't help myself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. It's kind of like hold on, we'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get it.
Yeah. And you won't
cool.
tune out either, like because of the weird cryptic things I said up top. You're like, I got the time. That's what I always do when people, especially in videos, are like, wait to the end. I'm like, I got the time. And I like to think I'm busy, but like in my experience, videos are not very long. Someone's like,
yeah, especially lately.
Yeah, so your video is 30 seconds. Wait till the end. I'll probably make it.
Yeah. Sometimes I take that as like a bet. Like, nah, okay, I'll move on.
Oh, cool.
Like, you shouldn't have told me to. I was into it anyways. But then sometimes I'm like, I'll hang in there. Like, I just want to know what's happening.
Yeah.
I want to know the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want you to hold out your hand. I'll just leave it at that. That's kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole rest of the song, so it doesn't really leave it at that. But
no, you're right.
it does do a good job of kind of getting you wondering what he's talking about, where he's going.
Yeah. And I'll say I kind of like when narrators are dishonest. Like dishonest And a separate idea is like unreliable when the narrator thinks they know something, they tell the listener or the audience, but then they don't have all the facts, dude. To me,
Yeah.
that's like, it just makes me think that writer or writers or are experts at world building.
Yeah.
Because how often I know in my own life I don't know. I'm very unreliable when it comes to being a narrator, and I just love whenever a narrator gets something wrong. I'm like, whoa, we've been conditioned by hundreds of years of movies and novels and songs, and then you didn't know your own piece. It's like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, cool. It's just on my mind right now, but Moon Knight, which I just watched the finale of, has a very unreliable narrator.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's so cool. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Nice. Well, you want to get to the chorus?
Yeah, let's do that. Kind of like a lot of choruses do, takes the song up a notch. Like brings it to a more fun and almost like pulled back view. Like the verse is kind of intimate, and then the chorus is like, I guess it is still to another person, but it's not. It's just more vague and doesn't say like things like you were alluding to in the verse. Like, whoa, what does that mean? That's something between the two of you.
Yeah.
And also he sings it very differently. I think that's like maybe the main thing people notice is he like breaks out those falsettos for the chorus.
Yeah. The melody is a lot more dynamic.
Yeah.
Like he kind of jumps up in that second line, way up there in the falsetto, like you said.
Yeah.
I like when you were talking about the first verse, you were talking about what this song is, and in comparison, songs that are chorus driven. And I like that because I wouldn't say that this song is like it's a good chorus, but it's not like it didn't start with the chorus, which a lot of the songs that we've done do. And it's almost like the chorus is just there because you're supposed to have a chorus in the song.
Yeah. I know that the chorus, the hook is the title, but you're right. This is like, because the verses are so kind of subdued, when the like you said, the melody is dynamic in the chorus, we feel like we're getting something different. Like, oh yes, that's like nice and easy on the ears because it's so different. But yeah, as far as hooks go, or like choruses and like the feel and the fun and the hits and how overproduced a lot of choruses are, this one's like, I mean, it barely spikes. Like if this song were a graph, it barely gives a little bump for the chorus.
Yeah. Which also kind of alludes to like the lo-fi inspiration that you mentioned. Just kind of like low energy, not very dynamic.
Yeah. I know, yeah. I wonder about songs that aren't dynamic. Like, you can use them. They're there. They're at your disposal. And people are like, but in a way, isn't that dynamics, I guess? to make the choice to keep it low.
Well,
To like,
yeah.
relax. I got all the paintbrushes. I'm going to just use this one. People haven't had many songs recently with just this one. Like, get ready.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's like another tool. And if your song is, if we're just talking like strictly volume, if your song is like quieter, then that's like a purposeful tool to like, I don't know, try to get people to listen or to be like more intimate or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's like a psychological trick that almost always works. Like, draws people in.
Oh yeah.
But the chorus, like a lot of choruses, is a bit repetitive. Like it's almost like the same thing twice. And honestly, the first time I heard it and when I saw the title, I was just kind of like, what does that mean? That kind of stuff, generally speaking, is not for me. When I just hear something or read something and go, what, why?
Yeah.
You know, the point is, and like I was saying, the song grew on me. I like it more. I didn't get tired of it. It's just kind of fun to sing along to, like certain parts of it. And I feel like it's kind of like an easy tune or an easy melody that's easy to remember. Like, do you ever see like a character in a movie like working like a shift by themselves and just like humming or singing a tune, and you can like not really know it but recognize it for something? To me, like the As It Was, you know, it's not the same as it was, is like that. Like, that's not the best melody I've ever heard by any exaggeration, but it's, I don't know, it's better than maybe half the melodies out there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very average.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. That's yeah.
And like I kind of said earlier, unoriginal,
Mm-hmm.
but somehow still like interesting and catchy.
Yeah. Yeah. I would call it catchy. Yeah. I'm glad you said that.
That's funny. You were right before we started recording. We were talking about the movie that Harry Styles is going to be in soon that I already forgot the name of, and you were talking about they'll use anything for a title these days.
Yeah, I did say that.
That's kind of the song too.
Wasn't it "Hello, My Darling"?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like it's gonna have a good cast. Who knows? I mean, I don't know enough about him. He's been in a few things, but I don't know enough about him to say he's a good actor or bad actor. Who knows?
Yeah, same.
That's funny though. I did say that. That's true. That's how I feel. I don't know.
Yeah, and as it was, there's just all so little, like such little words that are like, it's barely anything.
Mm-hmm. True, it kind of is, yeah.
I mean, was obviously like, is referring to like something that isn't anymore, like referring to the past, but just some very common and small words.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say mundane. You said common. Yeah, exact same thing. Yeah. Well, with that, should we get on to verse 2?
Yeah, let's do it. That verse is a lot different than what we've heard so far.
Yeah, it is. I like songs that have overtones that seem dramatic or seem like a lot of songwriters wouldn't go there. I guess is maybe a good way to generalize it. Like I used to say, I liked songs that had religious and sexual overtones. Like because
at the same time, or like in the same song.
At the same time, or differently, but yeah, it was like bonus. It was in the same song because I just listened to a ton of music that was like that. I don't know, like young, talented people making music. Generally, it's a good way to like find both of those things.
Ah, yeah.
And like roots music or Americana type stuff. And I also, and like I said, to generalize, just dramatic overtones. I like whenever a songwriter is working through an encounter they have with someone and they quote another person, even if they have to call themselves by their own name in like third person, but they're again like saying this is what this other person in the universe of the song said to me, and then also like being kind of tough love and honest with themselves.
Yeah.
I always think that's so neat and better than just your average like I'm hot, all my friends are hot,
Yeah.
we're dancing, aren't you single, that kind of stuff. And I think maybe I just want to give him credit for that because I know his roots of being in like a boy band.
Right.
And I'll tell you, one time, I don't remember where I was, but I saw their music video. I knew of One Direction, but honestly, that was just a point in my life where I could not name a One Direction song. I totally missed everything they ever did. They came and went before I tuned in, but somewhere, maybe I was out in public, but there's a music video that's playing, and I went, oh no, dude, all of these guys are so good looking. How fair is that? And I just was like bummed. Man, of course they are. I guess that's why they're in entertainment. But I just need to, like I said, for the second verse, to have all of that kind of gritty, dark stuff that, like the first verse, is intimate, and we go, oh man, we don't really, like, we almost get those references, but we don't. And I think it's cool to make them so, like, dramatic. Like I said, you take notice of stuff like that, or at least I do.
Yeah. And it's also like self-aware.
Yeah.
Him is kind of like acknowledging, it sounds like an issue that he has.
Yeah.
And also wanted to note, it's not the first time that we've heard Harry in this song because of that little soundbite at the beginning.
Oh,
I forgot exactly what it says, but it's
yeah.
like, Harry, we want.
We want to say goodnight to you.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. That's a lot for the songwriter to be named Harry and it, like, not really be anything that adds to the song. It just is in there twice.
Yeah. And then in the second part of this verse, he mentions his dad, and that he was alone and he just wants to know that Harry presumably is doing well.
Yeah.
And you know, it kind of makes you wonder if it might have been his dad that was calling him in the first part of the verse, but it would have made more sense to put the mention of his dad before that, if it was. So it's probably not, but somebody else that's worried about him, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. And maybe, matter of fact, that soundbite could be from a relative, like someone that he knows, like a sibling,
Yeah.
or he has younger siblings, maybe much younger, unless it's old. But that's not super important. But yeah, huh.
And then ringing the bell and no one's coming to help is just an interesting couple of lines as well. Because that kind of suggests like a doorbell.
Yeah.
But in the context, it's not like someone would be like ringing his doorbell to get his help. Like if anything, it sounds like he would be the one that needed help. So
I know.
is it him ringing like a more metaphorical bell?
Maybe I was thinking like customer service. Like I was just thinking maybe he's, I don't know, like I just picture this all taking place in a hotel. Maybe because of that I mentioned, but this whole second verse, like I don't know. There's something about the choice between your and the phone, like answer your phone or answer the phone.
That's a cool thing to notice.
I'm someplace where this isn't my phone. I got my, like, what's that? What's ringing? And I always feel that way in hotels, dude. If the phone rings at a hotel, I'm always like, oh no.
Yeah.
Are they checking to see someone's here before they come rob the room? Like, what's happening? And I always feel like, hello, like, can I answer this phone? But and that's part of the other thing, like, you're on the floor, kind of being like, you know, people stereotypically treat hotel rooms. Like, I'm on the bed, I'm on a chair, I can be wherever I want. I put my feet up, I put my feet on the comforter, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people just don't have any regard for hotels, so I'd like to think of it like, why are you sitting on the floor? And, you know, obviously he's a touring musician, and you know, making his foray into acting, so I don't know, I just like to think of it being like, well, I'm traveling, I'm bored, I'm homesick, and whatever, I'm worried about the future of the world, so, you know, taking some pills in the room. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that. It's cool that you had such a specific image. I think I did too, but it just wasn't specific to a hotel. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I like how this verse sounds a little bit more.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Just I think his vocal performance is a little bit more involved or like attentive, or you know, he's not trying to like draw you in anymore and like be as mysterious. He's being like vulnerable and genuine, and also the song has just kind of built its way up, so there's probably a difference in the backing track too. I have a hard time, like the music aspect of this song isn't very prominent, like because it's so repetitive and like automated or something. I'm like, okay, I've got that, I've registered that, like let's try to figure out what he's saying.
Yeah. I'll say I noticed at the beginning of the second verse the drums take a little rest and then find the tempo again, which is kind of cool. They like pause and let him like really grab the beat, which is always fun to hear. I love when a drum will do that because it feels like, I think I've said this before, so I apologize, but like a trapeze act when they're like free falling and they're about to be caught by the next person. And I was like, oh my gosh, I assume always that something great's gonna happen. And to me, like when a drum drops out or the drums drop out, it always feels like that to me, and they always come back in wherever they're supposed to. There's a little tiny bit of that, but like you said, it is quite repetitive. I mean, the drums are just doing this like fast, floppy snare drum beat. You know, like the snare sounds weak, it sounds muted and muffled, and there's like not much going on like, at all.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a little like delayed and muted guitar, and then there's some like spiky, like we said, 80s pop keyboard part, and it's like, and that's it.
Yeah. which is kind of another example of it not being very dynamic.
Yeah, true.
Like most of the dynamics, at least so far, have come from variation in the vocal performance,
Mm-hmm.
with like little pauses here.
Yeah. But he can play. I don't know. I mean, I think people know him more as a singer. Maybe he thinks of himself more as a singer. So more power to him. I mean, honestly, pick a band that has a distinct sound. Like every band or every performer can't sound like Foo Fighters, or every band can't sound like David Brothers, or just whoever it is. So it's kind of cool to be like, yeah, there's a guy out there. He has done it all already, and he's still young. So he just is like, kind of wrote a song. It's vaguely about a few things, and I'm just gonna just put it on tape, record it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I suppose we could get to the chorus. You're talking about how that's like the only dynamics we find is variations in the vocal. I think the chorus is up next.
Yeah, let's do it.
Man, like I said earlier, it's almost like just a pleasant, easy tune.
Yeah.
Like I can't hate on the melody, and I don't know. Honestly, I wouldn't. Sometimes I wish. I mean, I have it in me. I mean, you know that I have it in me. But sometimes I want to feel more free to be really critical. But we don't pick bad songs on purpose. I don't think we pick bad songs.
Right.
And also, people are just, if you're critical, people go, "What do you know? You're fat and you can't read. And whatever." People are just horrible.
Yeah.
Can be horrible. What do you know? You're broke. You're poor. These are fake. All this is fake. This is a green screen. But I wouldn't hate on the melody. I wouldn't be like, "Cam, let's do a song so we can hate on it."
Right.
But that's we were trying to be fun and keep it light.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, from the second time hearing the chorus, I'm like, find myself like in my head as it was, get into it. Not super into it though. It's so weird.
Yeah. I like how you're presenting that, because it is worth mentioning without like being negative about it. Like obviously, Harry Styles has freaking made it, and it seems like he has some struggles too. Like becoming famous doesn't solve anything, or like isn't the end all of anything. But as far as like a musical career goes, he's already done it, and like you said, he's so young, and so there's no hate there. But he's made something that we both like without like making a super interesting melody or anything even particularly spectacular.
Yeah, well said. That's true. Yeah, golly. Maybe you're onto something about the tempo. Like certain tempos affect your body, and also we're talking about 80s pop. Maybe it just hypnotizes us. Maybe that's the art or the craft, is to play this finished product for people and watch them go, "I like it," and then him just like, "Well, tell me more about it. What about it do you like?" And then I don't know. I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat, honestly. If that was intentional, and who knows, and I honestly think a lot of artists make something, it gets popular, they get interviewed about it, and then somewhere down the line they come up with what it was quote unquote about.
Yeah.
I mean, I just sometimes am like, what?
Yeah.
Someone tweeted that and you thought, I'm taking that. So who knows if that was intentional, but if it was, that's awesome. That's crazy to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, if he's just like figured out a way to make something that like anybody can just be like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, yeah, for real. Although, this next part, because you were talking about the vocal performance, this next part is unlike anything else in the song.
Oh yeah.
This little bridge we get.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Instead of talking about it, let's hear it. Yeah, it just has a rap bar or two in here.
Yeah.
I don't really know how bars work. But
Yeah, people have started to use bars, like it used to mean measures, so like written
Right.
music, and now people are like bars are lines.
Yeah.
Whatever. It doesn't bother me, but I'm just like, no, it's something. Out of pocket, I think, is the same way. I think out of pocket means you're offbeat, you're not in the pocket. And sometimes I think about it like a quarterback also, like not being in the pocket. And then people, I think, made it mean like you're spending too much money, like a different type of pocket. The first time I heard it in that context, I went, oh no, that it doesn't not work, but
Wow, like paid for something out of pocket?
yeah, like you paid too much and now you have to like make up the difference or something. You overspent. But yeah, a bar works because it's so short and it goes by quick and it's not really rhymes. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
I think maybe, and I'm glad I didn't realize this until now, or bring it up till now. The as it was like hook and title, and then some of the stuff in the first verse, and then this bridge. I think is what makes me think pandemic.
Yeah, I was gonna say this bridge for me more than anything else does tie it into that. The line, especially, I don't want to talk about the way that it was, which is interesting because I during the pandemic like watched a lot of podcasts on YouTube and listened to a couple others, and it kind of became a topic of every episode. And I saw some hosts and some people be like, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Like, let's talk about anything else. And I also got tired of like talking about just like, oh yeah, can you believe it? Like, did you hear about this? And
Yeah.
and then it also is kind of sad because something that was talked about a lot was like, oh yeah, can you imagine? Can you remember like right before it happened, just how clueless we were and everything. So that got like over talked, and it is just kind of sad to think about like how much everything has changed since then.
Yeah, it really is. And
now here we are talking about it. So
yeah, whoops.
Yeah.
We weren't totally above it though. Remember, we did.
Oh yeah.
Like special episodes about it and brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
But we try to keep it positive. Like we often talked about what good things are going to come out of it, if any.
Yeah, it's true. And most of which is like more art. People making music from home or, collaborating remotely and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. To me, the go home, get ahead, light speed internet makes me think about it. Like we have shelter in place. And that's our plan.
Yeah.
To keep things from getting worse, and then I just think it's so cool. It's almost like somebody in a fight or flight, like adrenaline fueled state. To me, that part. He like sing. You said rap. He raps it so fast, and it's almost like someone who doesn't want to have certain thoughts, but they're coming so quickly. It's like go home, get ahead. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. But then, dang, dude, I got like internet at home. Thinking it's like I'll probably be alright. Go home, get ahead, light speed internet. It's like just like a stream of consciousness, and like I said, kind of panicking a little bit.
Yeah, I'm glad you said all of that because speaking of positive things that came out of the pandemic, it reminded me of Welcome to the Internet, which we have an episode about. Go check it out.
Oh man, I'm glad you said yeah. Wow. I know I feel bad oftentimes talking about silver linings because about this specific thing, because a lot of them, like you're really grasping. And I know that's the point of a silver lining is a positive thing that doesn't even begin to outweigh the negative. It's just an actual like thinking about visualizing. Well, at least the lining's made of silver,
Right.
and there's just a lot of them, and most of them I found annoying. After we find myself rolling my eyes at people like whatever, and because of the internet, is not one of those. And I'm not saying that the stuff that Bo Burnham, who created Because of the Internet, went through, that it was worth it so that we got something else from him, but I mean that changed his whole legacy, his whole career.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like once in a generation maybe kind of piece, I think.
Seriously.
And also like it's a little bit like a weird voice. Like, I don't know if it's an effect or if he just like dropped down into a different register, but he like almost sings like creepy and like a little disturbed too.
Yeah. Which is another example of like vocal dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I again wasn't really able to pay attention to how much the music changed in the bridge, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I feel like usually I am paying much more attention to that. And, you know, it doesn't have much of a bass line. Like it's whatever's happening in the lower registers is really well blended and unspectacular once again.
Yeah. Well, I listened to it on the phone, in the car, and through headphones. It's just, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, what if he just made this kind of on tour, like with a laptop? And that could very well be it. And it just didn't call for a bass line. Nobody needed to play bass.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I don't know. That part's fun, but like that sound in that bridge section and then the sound bite at the beginning are just they don't really fit. But I mean, it's not my song to say. I just tonally, sonically, they just kind of throw it off a little.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like that's another thing that we talk about a good bit is like how much should a bridge like break up a song and, you know, as opposed to like separating it too much and like kind of almost sounding like it's from a different song. Like,
Yeah.
Where's the fine line of like a successful bridge?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I like it though. I think if for no other reason, it breaks up what has been very monotonous so far.
Yeah. Because we just hit the chorus, and then it ends on the chorus.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right.
So it's just verse, chorus, and then that. And that we just heard. And then I think we got another, like half chorus or something.
Yeah. We got half chorus and then a short little instrumental outro.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Cool. I like that little outro. I like that it kind of trails off and leaves us with that high-pitched keyboard part. But I also like there's a one little exciting part for the drummer, one little like flam, one little like kind of sloppy on purpose. I mean, in a good way, like accented part on the snare drum. I think that's super cool because I feel like most drummers would, you know, it would be lulled to sleep by this part.
Yeah, it's the drummer just kind of being like, I'm a real person playing these drums.
Yeah.
I got paid for this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, oh my gosh.
There's like 5 whole seconds of silence at the end of this track.
Oh, interesting.
Kind of worth noting. I let it kind of sit. Let us kind of sit in it for a second because it's got to be like an intentional decision as well.
Yeah. And maybe like we were wondering at the beginning, maybe it leads to something, you know? Maybe it's like a single that's going to be a piece of something bigger.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
That would make sense. I think that this came up on the last song that we did.
Yeah, definitely did.
And I was actually just, you know, kind of hearing that outro, like making some more connections to like COVID and like it's not how it was before the COVID, the same as it was. Which is, you know, now I'm thinking like, wow, that's an obvious, you know, place for your mind to go. So maybe that kind of speaks to like things normalizing a bit, at least where we are, and like it's not on my mind as much.
Yeah, I hope so. That's good, I think. Wow.
So obviously it's you know, impossible to ignore and huge and all, but
Dang. I mean, again, what a song. What a nice, pleasant song. A likable song. A good song. But just one of those that like kind of sneaks up on you. Just,
yeah,
man, I don't know. Something about it.
yeah, I do like it a lot, and it was a bit of a coincidence that you suggested this song. This was a Chris pick, just because I've been like trying to listen to Harry Styles a little bit more and like figure out how good he actually is.
Cool. Yeah, that is a weird coincidence.
Because he's you know, regularly hyped up. He's like kind of a big deal, I think.
True. Yeah. Well, does that mean you're a Harry Styles connoisseur? Did you feel like going first, or do you want me to go first?
No, I think that's more to say like I'm kind of new to his music, and like you, was never into One Direction. They were popular at a time that we were like too cool for that, or we thought we were, and you know, had like our boy band phase as like kids, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Thought that it wasn't cool anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, it wasn't. It was for people that were at the appropriate age, you know, that we were when we were into like Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I always thought. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you should go first.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I'd be glad to. I think as much as this song we've alluded to several times is and tries to be, I think successfully, an 80s pop song with a little bit of electronic music and a little bit of like this musical hook, again the thing that the outro totally ends with.
Mm-hmm.
It's not unlike the really spiky, addictive, perfect part from Buddy Holly by Weezer. It's not like it, and it's not used as effectively where that thing just like careens into that track. But it's, to me, like, reminds me of it. I also think that as much as that is the tone of the song, like you said, it's a little bit monotonous, maybe even automated, and all of the music, which could be really fun, is low in the mix. And that leaves tons of room for the vocals to be low in the mix and then get kind of a little bit louder and more in your ears and then back away. We talked about that with the last Billie Eilish song we did. Like, her thing is sometimes like she has like the wild and the loud and the bold songs, and her other thing is turn the instruments down as low as possible and I'll get
as close to the mic.
Yeah, and so that way I can like barely sing. And it's like very sad and very poignant on purpose. This mix has tons of room for Harry to show off like his like dynamically and his vocal range, which he does a bit. But I think given how simple the lyrics are, especially the chorus, and how there's mention of other relationships and people that are close to, you know, if it's autobiographical or not, our narrator, I think overall it's a ballad. And it's a song where someone writes it and they're trying to be like casual. They're trying to be like, oh, I'm breezy. It's not a big deal. It's an easy listening song with a nice, clean, no one straining themselves performance. And I think for those, you know, because there's this little bridge part that's a little bit upbeat, and there is some kind of like stuff that gives us concern in the second verse. I don't think that's enough to take it into the realm of a fight song being like a, you know, traditional fight song, an angry song, an aggressive song, or even like a hyped up party song, celebratory song. So I think it's like an 80s, you know, vocal pop star kind of inspired ballad. So a love song.
Gotcha. Cool. Dang, I guess it's my turn now. Yeah, we talked a lot about the fact that it is not dynamic at all. And by that was me trying to find words to say that it's a pretty consistent volume. The melody doesn't move very much, with just a couple exceptions. It's not a chorus-driven song. It's more of a riff-driven song, which I think is kind of what you were alluding to with the Buddy Holly reference. Just kind of riding on that like really catchy synth thing that's happening. And there is some conflict from the narrator And since the kind of other character in the song is so vague and like unnamed, and well, it mentions his dad specifically, but the other one doesn't really seem to be anyone worth mentioning, or he didn't want to mention them by name or give them any specifics. That doesn't give it enough like conflict to me, and any of the conflict that there is seems to be like with himself and like the past. But I think I agree with you that it's not enough to move the song itself into fight song territory, because it's not a rager. You know, it doesn't increase my heart rate, or have any similar effect, and it's not like protesting anything.
Yeah.
And you know, the lyrics that we get the most are the ones that repeat, which are in the chorus, and that's just it's just us. You know, it's not the same as it was. So maybe if anything, it's a like a love song about the past, but that's just kind of trying to give it some very specific meaning that might not. I mean, it's just kind of vague, so I'm trying to like dig really into it and in order to put it in one of the categories. And I think it has to stay on love song for me too.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree. I think that's plenty of reason.
Nice.
Dang. Cool. Well, we hope you liked that one. Let us know if we got it wrong. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's about Taylor Swift. Maybe it is a huge diss track that we missed. I don't think so, but it's possible. But yeah, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And I think it's cool that we agreed, because I honestly don't know how else this song could be read, but it could be wrong.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, we're on YouTube now, so there's like comments.
Yeah.
You know, say what's up.
Yeah, please. And we appreciate y'all. I hope y'all like this song. I know we did.
Yeah, seriously, thanks so much.
Yeah, cool. Cam, thank you.
Yeah, man. Y'all have a good week.